What up peeps, this is a 2021 Fox Float X2. Now I'm gonna show you a 2024 Fox Float X2. Did you notice the difference? Cause I didn't. Well, in this video, I'm gonna rip this thing apart and see what's different. Just to be clear, I'm very unqualified to speak about this. I ordered all these Amazon tools, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So I was kind of shocked on how easy it was to take the Fox Float X2 apart once you spend like $200 on tools. It's basically a bunch of shaft clamps and crescent wrenching, and the thing comes apart really easy. Now this crunching noise is absolutely normal, but it sounded like I was breaking the thing. So when I say it's easy, there is a lot of risk taking this shock apart. Basically the IFP was gonna turn into a bazooka, and I had to hold on to dear life till I could depressurize the damn thing. So shout out to the bike mechanics who charge you $200 to do this, because it is a lot of risk. Here's this jizzed up, aired up, cavitated oil that came out of that old Fox Float X2. And of course you gotta stare at it. Last special tool of the day is this little pin thing, and it'll come out real easy. The IFP, yeah, you can use some random tools. You don't need to buy every special tool. One X2 down, one to go. So this is the brand new 2024 X2, and it's brand new, so it should be a little bit easier to take apart. But basically my learning curve had adjusted on the first one, and I had this thing completely gutted in like 20 minutes. So why do bike mechanics charge $200 to take the shock apart? Well, you have to order a lot of tools, and it is dangerous to take this apart. Okay, we got the new X2 on the left and the old one on the right. We can see the Kashima on the old one has gotten a tan. I don't know if they have a new style of Kashima or it just gets tan from the sun. Now, these aren't two perfectly identical shocks because I'm not made out of money and these videos are completely self-funded. One is a trunnion mount and one is a 230x60. So Fox says it has a new chassis and damper. So let's focus on the chassis. And this forms page says it has 7000 series aluminum, so basically they're using higher end aluminum to build the newer shocks. The article on the left is from a forums page, so take it with a grain of salt. On the right is the current retail listing for the Fox Float X2. So we're gonna go in order of how I took it apart so I don't get lost. This piece is called the negative air seal head. I'm gonna call it the collar that goes around the stanchion. This is the old one in my hand and it looks very good. Nothing wrong with it. They didn't say anything about updating this. It looks virtually identical to the new one in my hand, except for this one is new. Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. The X2 was a great shock besides the air and the oil, right? First piece of new kit in the new X2 is this Foamer rubber ring. Now, if you're not aware, rubber is an excellent material for soaking up vibrations or heavy impacts. So this is going to help the shock absorb nasty terrain, so hopefully you're not going to get that horrible crunchy noise of the X2. So this is the IFP. It slides up and down inside of the piggyback and it keeps the oil inside of the shock. Now this is the new one in my hand and they're virtually identical and there's nothing about updating it, so this was not the issue of the 21 to 23 Fox Float X2. Fox calls this the bearing housing and the tool is the driver. So basically this is the other side of the shock that seals the oil in. I'll show you where it goes. So basically it threads into the stanchion right there and that's how you seal the oil. The black one is the old one. This is the problem child of this shock. The newer one is silver. Maybe the paint was the issue. Looks like we have a different style of O-ring on the newer one, or it's older. I can't verifiably say because I'm not qualified to speak about this and Fox is keeping it under wraps. So I spent a ridiculous amount of time zooming in on these two and I could virtually not tell the difference besides the paint. But keep in mind we're talking about thousandths of an inch, micro tolerances, and air can slip past the most minor imperfection. Machining these tight tolerance parts must be a nightmare. Okay, do you see this hole in the bearing housing? Well, this piece slides through that hole into the oil. This is one of the most, or is the most complex piece of machinery within this shock. As long as you don't take this guy apart, this shock is super easy to service. New chrome damper shaft, new main flow piston. Basically, there was a problem with this guy and it was causing air to get in the oil. but when you look at them on the bench, they virtually look identical. Mad props to the machinists who made this in Taiwan. Let's give them a round of applause because the engineering that goes into this and the machining is absolutely phenomenal. I had to zoom all the way in and crop in way in, and we see the one on the right is the new one, and it has some additional ports so it could flow more oil. Now, they look virtually identical when you're ripping apart them on the bench, but you're looking through an $1,800 lens zoomed all the way through, and they do have subtle little changes, like that top thing that spins around with the rebound is in a different position. This is an air cap on the piggyback, basically sealing the air inside the piggyback. Did you know there's 100 PSI inside of your piggyback shock? Well, now you do. Well, guys, that's the new X2 and the old X2. I thought it was going to be more exciting, but it was a really fun learning experience. So click the video on the screen to learn how to take your Foxfloat X2 apart.